Black Ops 6 combined two things that I love, Call of Duty and retro AR-15s. So when I saw that they added a Colt 723 to the game, you know I had to do it to them. Let's take a look. All right, a new year, a new Call of Duty, people. What are we thinking? Ideas. I want to hear your ideas. Tony, what do you got? Hear me out, boss. I was thinking we go to the 90s. Maybe we do like the Gulf War. We have like real life soldiers, you know, some operators, something like that. What do you think? Yeah, no, I understand where your headspace is. I just hate it, right? So instead, I was thinking we take it in a new direction. For example, George Floyd, huh? What do you think? Yes, right? Yes, boss, yes. We got Demon Guy. Kids are gonna love this one, all right? He's on fire. He's even got a demon dog. This is new skins to buy. This will be $45. Oh, wow, that's worth that money. And then I think we're the first company to do this. Sexually ambiguous chick with the side of her head shaved, right? This guy gets it. Wow, I've never seen her before. Jess, you've been real quiet over there. I wanna hear your thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking. Where's your head at?
I think if we have a game set in 1991, maybe, I don't know, let's have the characters and guns be from 1991.
So first off, I would just kind of say watch your tone, you know, kind of read the room. And second, the kids don't care about that, okay? They care about the Fortnite skins. So we're gonna deliver because that's what we do, right? That's our mission, is to deliver.
I mean, it's not much to ask. We have a 90s game, let's put 90s looking soldiers in it.
No, I hear you, I get it, I understand. No, yeah, sure. Can I get security up here right now? So let's talk about this rifle, okay? This is kind of unique. It's a little bit different. It's kind of a late stage CAR-15, right before the introduction of the M4. You can see photos floating around of, I think they're Navy SEALs or they're CIA, not necessarily Delta Force as much, but there are photographs of guys in civilian plain clothes that work for the government in other countries that are using setups very similar to this, though like some things are a little bit different, like they have an A2 receiver. But when I first played, or when I was first watching the trailers for Black Ops 6, something I noticed right off the bat was the handguards, the tube handguards, some carry handle mounted optics, the cheek risers, the butt pads, all these kinds of things. I was getting really excited, right? It's very rare that Call of Duty like really nails a AR-15. You know, the Modern Warfare series has been pretty good over the years, but there's been a lot of issues, especially like the Treyarch series of games. Many of those games have some strange, you know, choices, right? The previous XM4 and Cold War, the Commando, we've talked about that before on the channel. They're not really time period correct. So when I saw that they were putting a Colt 723 in the game, I was pretty excited. And then when you have attachments like this or the free float Armalite tube that's also in the game, I was like, okay, I need to do a build based off of this. We'll break it down. I guess we'll save the handguard for last because that's kind of the most interesting part. We will start in the middle. We don't want to copy anybody, right? This optic is based off of the Otero Red Dot that's in the game. It's actually an Aimpoint 2000. I got this one for about 214 bucks on eBay, which is a pretty good steal. It was silver. The guy I bought it from spray painted it black, and then he had to make his own battery cap because I guess there was something, he lost the other one, whatever the case was. Now this one came out in 1985, I want to say, and the actual optics used in the Gulf War, in limited use, right? Not everybody was running around with these, but Delta and whatnot, I believe they would have been using either Aimpoint 3000 or 5000s, which are also the red dots that you would see in like a Black Hawk Down kind of clone. The reason I went with the 2000 is because one, I've always wanted one, and two, it's the cheaper of those three optics. The 3 and 5000 typically go for like anywhere between, it seems like $400 to $800 because they're just very sought after for clones. So I went with the 2000. It looks pretty good, and the Otero Red Dot in the game isn't really based on any one red dot. It looks like it's a mix of some of the Aimpoint series as well as like a Tasco Pro Point. It came with the mount as well. I forget what kind of mount it is, but it is a Weaver carry handle mount, which is pretty neat. Then we'll move to the stock. So the stock In the game, they're calling this, I believe, the combat stock. What it essentially is just a normal Car 15 stock with a rubber butt pad and a cheek riser. Now, the cheek riser they're using in game, I believe, is based off of the Cherokee cheek riser, which was a real thing and it was really used in setups very similar to this. So the butt pad has to be secured with a zip tie, and it's not really it's called the recoil. I think it's like a John Mason or John Madison, something like that, recoil pad. It's not necessarily for recoil, it's more so for gripping. So if you're wearing, you know, Alice or whatever the case was, it grips the material a little bit better because the plastic on the back can kind of have a tendency to slip on these cheaper stocks. Now, the cheek riser, this is not a Cherokee, this is a new production from a friend of mine, Hammy, who's also the sponsor of this video. We have to talk about the sponsor for this video, Hammy of HammyPrints.com. You can go check out his stuff if you're looking for kill flashes, lens covers, a way to mount a gun to a wall, then go check out Hammy. He also makes a Car 15 cheek riser that I'll be using here very soon in a future video. He's a good friend of mine and he makes a lot of good stuff, so go please check him out. Use code ESPO for 10% off. So this cheek riser that Hammy makes, now this is the Generation 1 model that he produced. He has a little bit different one now, and he has one that's a little bit closer to the Cherokee that's a little longer. If you're wondering why the design is like this, why it's cut this way, it's so that you can use the charging handle still. You have to be one position out for it to work. I have this stupid paracord here, so I can't test it, but if it's all the way in, it has an issue reaching. But the cheek riser, I think, is a really good addition. Now, I'm gonna be a little bit biased because Hammy is the sponsor and a friend of mine, so I'm gonna tell you that it's cool and it's worth it, but I genuinely do believe in the cheek riser because it puts your head perfectly where it needs to be with an optic of this height. The only downsides to it would be that you can't use your irons when it's on there, but if your optic goes down, you can just rip this thing off and then you can look back at your irons underneath. But in the game, it's pretty funny because you can have a red dot that's mounted down here or irons, and you can still use a cheek riser, but you can't do that in real life. But that's pretty funny. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. You can also leave a comment that tells YouTube that this video is fun and engaging. So if you do that, it'll help me out. So the fore end of this gun, right? Let's call it the reinforced barrel in the game. It's a weird way to say it, right? They always have weird naming schemes in Black Ops. It's just very strange. This is actually a free float aluminum tube. These did exist. These predate the green tubes that you might have seen. I know Palmetto State sold a green tube for a little bit. It didn't really perform well and they don't sell it anymore. This predates that. It's a way to free float a AR that was not free floatable at the time. And then of course, for the light, I'm running a Surefire 6P LED. This is kind of an early 2000s model, but it looks, you know, pretty much like the old 6P that was an incandescent bulb. There's no flashlights in the game, but they have a bunch of lasers. They do have a PEC 2A, which I did think about putting my SOMO gear up here, but I kind of just wanted to drill as little as possible to get the bare minimums down so I don't mess up the tube and start making it ugly. So I got the 6P with the tape switch. Now the tape switch is actually from Shekin Gears. They have made Surefire 660 clones, and you can just buy the tail cap, and the tail cap actually works with real Surefire products. Up front, we just have another Hammy Prints light cover. So as far as I could tell, I don't know if guys were using light covers back in the day, so this may not be clone correct. They were using things like IR covers though. You'll see those on like a lot of Gothic Serpent clones and whatnot. I like the light covers just because, right, it prevents you from NDing if you're concerned about that, and it kind of keeps your glass free of soot. I tried to venture out once. I did the M1 Garand video in 1911, and they bombed. So now I live in shame. So usually people ask me what kind of kit I'm wearing, hey, what top is that? What pants is that, right? All that kind of stuff. So it's good for comments, but I thought I would address it and talk about it because it's actually pretty close to what they're wearing in Black Ops 6. I didn't know that when I planned this uniform out. I was already planning to use like a chocolate chip with a DNC top of some kind, some variation. So when I played the campaign and I saw what they were wearing, I was like, yo, and I made a couple like little tweaks to my LARP suit for this video, and then I made, you know, kind of cloned it, so to speak. So what I'm wearing up top is a watch cap. I got this from the Navy. This is just a Navy watch cap. And then I got the Earth, Wind, and Fire goggles, or whatever they're called. These are the Sand, Dust, and Wind, or something like that. These were issued in the Gulf War. So I just threw these bad boys up here. They are very mil-spec-y. So if you know what that means, you know, mil-spec, the highest bidder or the lowest bidder for the cheapest price, whatever the case, the government usually spends the least amount of money for their stuff. And you can definitely tell with these goggles, they feel really cheap, but hey, that's what they had thrown on in the game, so I snagged a pair. Gloves, we're using the flight gloves here. Pretty common. You see like in Black Hawk Down, the movie, they're wearing these Nomex flight gloves. I just rolled up the excess like so, and using those. DNC top, so Desert Night Camo was issued to the troops in the Gulf War. As far as a little bit of research I did on it. I'm not an expert on it, but I looked into, you know, Desert Night Camo, what it was, a little bit of the history of it. Apparently it was developed in the late 60s and the 70s to combat Russian night vision. The idea was that, I guess, the grid pattern of this would cancel out like the grid of the Russian night vision. I don't know, I'm not a programmer, I don't know how that works. But that was the idea, and it didn't really work. It just kind of made you stick out more, you know, because it's a dark green or dark color in the desert. They were issued in these kind of rain jackets and then like some trousers, some over trousers. So you'll see pictures of the guys in the Gulf War donning the DNC with some chocolate chip, you know, a mix of either or. As far as the belt kit goes, this is just Alice kit that I got. It used to be a lot of Amazon stuff. Over the lifespan of the channel, I have upgraded it to add more actual USGI surplus stuff. So these are Alice pouches. They're empty right now, but you can stick 2 grenades on them, fit 3 Stand-Ag mags each. I got a 1911 holster. I got my canteen over here. I got my butt pack, another canteen, and then I got like a 1911 mag over here, a mag pouch. You're supposed to have like 1 canteen that's normal and 1 canteen with a special top on it, but I think I have it inside my house because I did buy a special top one with the gas mask, but I digress. As far as the trousers go, these are the chocolate chip, kind of only popular in the Gulf War. They were quickly abandoned after that. In the game, they're using Desert Tricolor, which is not completely anachronistic because Desert Tricolor, the copy stain pattern, it did exist, but it was issued to like generals and it was in very, very small supply. So most of the troops, and as far as I can tell, most of the Delta Force operators were using chocolate chip. And in the game they're using tricolor, so whatever. There is that mission in the campaign where there's a down helicopter and it's a bunch of Delta guys and they're pretty much wearing this exact outfit and they're using the, you know, 723s, so that's pretty cool. But that's pretty much the kit. So, and then real quick, these are the jungle boots. They're Rothkos, the black leather ones with the black fabric. That's kind of like a later 80s, 90s sort of boot. And from what I can tell, a lot of guys in the Gulf War were using the black, so it actually works. I bought these for like 26 bucks like 6 years ago. And I haven't really used them that much, but I mean, they're acceptable, they're fine. The real ones I hear are like way better than these, but what can you do? If you guys are looking to pick up some merch to help out the channel, you can go buy shirts like this, the Commando. I got an M16A1 and an A3, and a whole bunch of other shirts you can go select. You can follow me on the platform formerly known as Twitter here, and on Instagram here, and then I have another channel. We'll throw that up here. Go support those channels, and yeah. So without further ado, I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the video. I got nothing else, so have a good rest of your day.